Hey everyone, this is Matt Fleischer with the LA Times opinion section, and I am going to take you on my morning bike commute. 47% of all trips outside the house in Los Angeles are under 3 miles, and my commute is just at that kind of magic range. But unfortunately, 84% of that 47%, people take the car. And if you see me struggling to get up this hill, you can probably see why. But that said, the city's putting in a lot of work to get more people out of the car for those trips under 3 miles. So I'm going to show you what that's like. Whew. Oh boy. So you probably just saw me roll through that stop sign. So California is currently mulling a law change that would allow cyclists to do that legally. It is currently not illegal. It is currently not legal. And you can see, so there's a rule in Idaho that lets you do that. It's called the Idaho stop. I'm a fan of this rule because, as you can see by the way I'm huffing and puffing, sometimes it's not quite so easy just to come to a complete stop on a bike and start back up again, especially after a giant hill. And we got another one here. One of the major reasons people choose not to bike to work is they're afraid of getting sweaty. That's a legitimate concern. One that I don't particularly have though, or it doesn't bother me. Feel free to ask my boss. Yeah, tweet at my boss, Nick Goldberg, if you have any questions or concerns about my personal hygiene or lack thereof. All right, so things have actually been pretty easy thus far. Here's where things get a little tricky. We've approached Glendale Boulevard. So on your left, if you scroll left, you can see a brand new bike lane the city just installed on Glendale Boulevard. Nice and wide and nicely painted. And to your right, it magically disappears. It doesn't keep going. Right as the road narrows, we actually kind of need one. So this stretch of Glendale can get kind of hairy. So, yeah, now it really narrows. And there's a truck behind me. So, yeah. So a good cyclist, a good aggressive cyclist would take the lane here, which is technically my right, to take up the whole thing so cars can't get past in the interest of my own safety. But this stretch of Glendale is kind of like a mini freeway because people are coming off the 2 and working their way to the 110 here. And so that kind of behavior generates a lot of anger. So even though we're riding right next to Echo Park Lake, you can see the fountain to the left. It's absolutely beautiful. The city or county spent $40 million to redo it a few years ago. The main road used to access the lake. It's kind of terrifying. So, yeah, there's a pile behind us. I'm gonna go ahead and hop off and get on the sidewalk here because it just feels a lot safer, unfortunately. Yeah, it would be great to have a bike lane here. Slow the traffic down, let people at the park enjoy. Let cyclists get to the park easily, but it doesn't seem to be in the city's plans in the near future. Riding on the sidewalk comes with its own hazards, as you can see. All right. Little driveways like that you just saw make riding on the sidewalk also a little scary. Kind of never know when someone's going to back out, and it's not their fault if they can't see you. So I'm probably going 20-something miles an hour right now. That car in front of me probably just passed me going 40 within a couple of feet. 2 or 3 feet of my left. All right. So once Glendale becomes second, thankfully we have a bike lane. Although bike lanes that are designed like this, this is a pretty standard LA bike lane. With parking to the right, bike lane in the middle, road to the left. They tend to come with their own hazards. Sometimes it's a bit like Mario Kart. People trying to park, buses weaving in and out. In fact, someone just died last week, I believe, struck by an LA Metro bus, a cyclist. I was riding here a couple of weeks ago. It was like people weaving in and out, FedEx vans parked here. It was crazy. Today, not so bad. You see this person getting in right here. Thankfully they got in before I passed by. Getting doored is, it sounds almost funny when you think about it. I mean, I know when you think about it, but you know, door, someone opens their door, you run into it. It's actually not good at all. Imagine hitting a brick wall at 20 miles an hour. Yeah, people can get really hurt that way. So that's another problem with these bike lanes with parking on the right, is the risk of dooring. Thankfully though, we are about to enter the 2nd Street Tunnel, which is one of the few protected bike lanes in all of Los Angeles. Protected bike lane means it's kind of cordoned off, as you can see up ahead. Only cyclists can get in. No cars weaving in and out. Yeah, if only all cycling lanes were like this. If you're not from LA, you've probably seen this tunnel here in every single car commercial ever. You know, the guy from The Wire cruising through in some GM car or something like that. What you may not know is this is one of the best places to cycle in the city, or the safest. I don't know if it's the best. Probably a little too much trash flying up in my mouth for it to be the best place to cycle. Up ahead, you can see the LA Times building. We are almost there. A relatively uneventful ride, which is good. That's kind of the way I like them. I have someone double parked in the bike lane up ahead. This is parking enforcement here, I think. Yeah, parking violations. There's a certain irony. People always double parked in the bike lane, trying to pay their parking tickets. All right, we have arrived safely at the LA Times. Ooh, we're not going to do that. Hop off here. Thanks for coming on the ride with me. We're going to bring our bike inside because even though you can see bike racks out front, this is not a safe city for bike parking, so we're going to bring it inside the office. All right, take care, everyone.